Today in this video we are going to talk about a remote trigger made from Alpine Labs, the Spark. It comes with this box. Here is the Spark and here is the logo of Alpine Lab. The Spark, the box is very small, but it fits. It has some papers like this. This is like some kind of manual. This is publicity. And it comes with a cable. You need to choose your cable from your machine in order to play with Spark. So if you have a Canon camera, you have to choose the wire for Canon. If you have a Sony, you have to choose the wire or the cable for Sony, and etc. etc. So you can use your Spark. So the Spark comes in this pocket, which is quite friendly and quite nice to transport, and because also the Spark is very fragile, but we're going to talk about that later. So you have to order it with your cable, as you said. I don't know why they sent me this cable here. I didn't order this one. I don't know for which camera it is, no figure, but I order it one to use it with the Sony cameras. So the Spark is this little thing like this. It's quite tiny, it's quite small, and it's quite fragile. This is a remote trigger. This works mainly as a remote trigger, so you can use it by commanding your camera at a distance or close to your camera. By pressing this shutter, you can make your camera work and take one photo or make video. I don't know if it makes video. Does it make it? I don't know. It has one so it has a surrounding light. If you press it, it will make some blue light, and this show you that it is working. So what is Spark, and for what it fits, or what are the purposes of this small thing? This is mainly a remote control. You can use it to make time lapse, to make bulb mode or long exposure photography. You can use it to make HDR, etc. etc. We are going to see all the modes in a moment. Talking about the Spark, I really find it interesting, this piece, but it has some minor things that I'm going to talk right now. First of all, it's very fragile, so you have to be very careful, because if this falls down, I think it will crash in 1,000 pieces. It's quite fragile, and when you take it off, when you take the cable off, the cable is inserted like this, and when you take the cable off, you have to be careful also not to make some more strength than what you need, because you can damage this part here. Also, when you have it in the hot shoe of the camera, it gets stuck, and when you are going to take it off, if you push it from the upper part, you can really damage it, because this upper part will get off and the down part will continue stuck in the hot shoe of the camera. So be careful if you purchase this remote control. Be careful about that, because it's quite fragile. So the second thing I don't like in this remote control is that it doesn't have a battery that is chargeable. So it has an inside battery, and this battery, Alpine Labs claim that it can work for 5 years or more, but of course it will always depend on your use of the Spark. I don't believe my Spark will last for 5 years, because I do a lot of time lapse. I use it a lot for a lot of applications, so I do believe it mostly I will use it for 2 years in a positive perspective. So you cannot change the battery inside. To change the battery, you have to open it and close it, and you have to send it for Alpine Labs in USA. So for the price of this thing, I believe it's not a good solution. So this is a minus for this. You have to have a rechargeable battery for these pieces of equipment. or at least you have to have the possibility to change the battery. Well, so, and the third one is the app control. When I first started to use this app, I have this device. I'm using it for about a year now. I have so many problems with the app control in the smartphone. So it doesn't work at all. The time-lapse feature, which was the mainly reason that I bought this, it doesn't work, and I have a lot of problems in the application. I use a Huawei P9 Lite. I don't know if it is because of the phone. I believe it works better in iOS systems or in smartphones that are better than mine. But if you make this to use the apps in the smartphones, and if you said and if the company said that your smartphone is compatible, so it must work good, or other case. Otherwise, you will not be able to fund the client expectations, and that's not good, of course. So it's not a good policy. So, but let's see how it works. This is the three things I don't like it. Oh, but now after a lot of updates, I find it very good to use. It has some minor glitches. Yes, it have. But I find it sometimes hard to connect. The time-lapse doesn't show you the exact numbers of shots that you've made. We are going to see that in a moment. But now it works fine. So my overall evaluation of this product is quite positive, because it's not very expensive, and if you do time-lapse, for example, or if you need a remote trigger, this can be very useful to use. So let's see how it works and let's see what it does. Well, so Spark is very easy to use. You can use it in traditional triggering, like wiring or connecting the cable to the camera, and use it as traditional triggering. You can use the mode 2, the app control, or you can also use, if your camera have this ability, with the infrared triggering. So we can use by triggering as an infrared remote control. You have here all the explanations in this part, how you do it, and in the other part you have also how it works. So you have here the lot of information about the product, the warranty, about us, etc., etc. In order to use it as a infrared triggering, you don't need to connect anything to the camera. You just need to open the infrared triggering in your camera and in your app, and just click on this button, and you can use it as an infrared triggering. As you can see, when you click it, it makes this flashlight here, so you know that it is working. Alpine Labs Spark, it doesn't have an on-off button, it's always on, so this comes confirm my fears about this product and about the battery. I think it will drain in less than 2 years. Okay, so now let's connect it. For connecting your I'm sorry about this. To connect your Alpine Labs, you just need to put your cable and connect the other part of the cable to your camera. In this review, I'm going to use the camera for Sony, but you can use, of course, which camera you have. You just need to choose the right wire or the right cable. So you plug this cable and it's good to go. Now you have your Alpine Lab connected to your camera. Now you just need to click in on your camera and it will turn on. If you want to use it straight away without anything else, you just need to click here, and as you can see, if you push this button, it will take photos. So you can use it as a remote control, a normal remote control. But what do unlock a lot of opportunities in this device is, of course, the app in the phone. So we are going to see how it works, the app. To work with the app, you have to download the app from Spark. It's free, and with your Google Play or in your Apple Store. And then after you download it, you just need to open the app. I'm sorry about my glass of the phone. I have an accident. You have to allow Bluetooth, of course, because it works in Bluetooth with the Bluetooth. And now you have your app on. So you can see here down it says no Spark connection, because before you start using it, it must say Spark connected. So if this happens to you, which happens a lot to me, this should be automatic, but if this happens to you, you come here at Photo, Device, and scroll down and search for devices, and the camera or the app will start searching for your app. I'm sorry about that. Let me just correct here the autofocus, which is not working good. Okay, so now he already found the Spark. So let's see here, and Photo, and now you have the My Spark connected message. So now you're good to go. So we are going to start scrolling over the possibilities of this app and this feature and this remote control. The first one is Photo. Like the button in the superior part of the Spark, you just need to push the button and it will take photos. You see, take a lot of photos because now I am in a continuous mode, and he shoots a lot of photos, not only one. So this one, if you trigger, it will take photos, just like a normal remote control. You have then the time-lapse mode, and here in the time-lapse you can choose the interval, this 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds, and the duration of the time-lapse. You can choose 1 hour or just some minutes. For instance, for example, 15, 17, 20 minutes. In this down part here, Sparkle will show you how long it will be the video, 33 seconds, and you will take 800 photos if you make a time-lapse with these configurations. So you can put it as you like it. Here you have the bulb ramp. You can program a bulb ramp with a delay, duration, start shutter or end shutter. For example, you can use it. EV change, you have here photos 800, interval 600, 6 seconds. This is the time lapse, the main time lapse. But you can, for example, you can program him to start your exposure for 1 to 5 seconds, 1 to 4 seconds, and the end exposure you can put it, for example, less. If you want to make 1 second, if you want to make a transition from daylight to night, you can make this bulb ramping. You can make the duration, of course, the bulb ramping, and the delay of the bulb ramping. You have to press enable here, and now you have your configuration for bulb ramping. Okay, it's not good, of course. I'm going to disable, because this you should work a lot better the configurations. So you have the time delay. You can program also the delay of the time lapse. You can save it as a preset for a lot of uses, and you can load also the preset. Well, but if you want just a time lapse, you can put the interval, the duration, and you press start, and he will start the time lapse. For you to make this, it's important two things. First, the camera to be in manual mode, and second, you have to put the camera in single shot mode. Otherwise, it will happen this. Okay, it will take the photo and it doesn't continue and he continues to shoot 6 or 7 or 10 photos in each shot he makes. So here you have the progression bar, and here the number of shots he already made. Of course, he didn't took 3 photos, he already took about 15 photos, because I have the camera in continuous mode, so you have to change it for single. Okay, what happens to me sometimes is that this it's not accurate. So for example, he took 1 photo and this will jump to 5 photos, so I cannot have a certain number of photos that he took. Well, here you can pause it or resume, and here you can end your time-lapse if you want to end it before the time that you schedule. That's not this, it's this. You can also make a long exposure. For you to make a long exposure, be careful, because you need to put it in bulb mode, or otherwise it will not work. And of course, in long exposure, you can make your exposure time. You can set up one exposure, for example, for 1 minute and 30 seconds, and you just need to press start to take the 1 minute and 30 seconds exposure. Or you can put it in infinite, and you press start, and the camera will take photo as long as you don't click on end. So you can start and then you put it on end, otherwise it will continuously taking a long exposure. He didn't make one long exposure now. You see that he continuously bursting, because I have it in continuous mode and I don't have the bulb mode set up, so it doesn't work. So you have to be careful with that. Then you have the HDR function, so you can change you can choose the number of photos and the EV increased per photo. When you have it set it up, you just need to click on the button and it will make it for you. Photo booth, you can program here. This is just almost like time lapse, but you can make this if you want a short number of photos, and if you want to capture one sequence, for example, one person jumping. So you have the time between photos. You can choose 1 second, for example, between photos, and you can choose 10 photos, and you press start, and it will take photos. And I'm sorry, I'm going to end it because I didn't. Okay, no, I didn't have the single shot and the manual mode on, so you have to be really careful with this. Okay. So, and about the Spark, it's everything explained. Here is the devices that I show you at the beginning when you have problems connecting, and here you have the settings. And this is important because you have here 2 things that you can use. The first one is submit a bug. You can submit a bug to the team, to the Alpine Labs team, and it will help them also to improve the product. And here select a camera. So you have here the various numbers of cameras, and you have to select the camera that you are using in order to properly use the IR remote feature. So if you want to use it in a Sony, you choose here Sony, and the infrared remote feature will work much better, and that's it. And you have to, if you want to update Spark, you just click here, and it will search for updates for your Spark, and it is everything shown about the Spark. So, like I said to you, I really like this equipment. I think it's a little bit expensive, so $69 or $70. But it works good. So Sony doesn't have an intervalometer. Sony doesn't have, for example, Sony doesn't have a time-lapse feature. So if you want to make time lapses, if you want to make some creative modes of shooting, you need to buy a remote controller. So this can be a solution. For me it is, but now you have also other solutions in the market which are a little bit expensive but are more complete than this one. For example, the Pluto or the Myops system. They are more complete than this one, but this one, for the price and for what it serves, it works really good. Well, it's up to you to decide if you want to, if you need this thing or not. I hope you liked the video. If you have any doubts, please ask me in the comments, and I will gladly respond to it. Thank you very much. Subscribe to the channel for new videos, and please hit like button on this one if you like it. Thank you. See you next time.